How about it now? It's Dean Kirk resuming countdown of my fantasy playlist of February the 13th, 2022. Got a fantastic song at number 30, although it did take a while for it to grow on me. I was somewhat favorably impressed when I first saw the video. Never heard this artist until last summer. Never heard of her. Natalie Hemby. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. First saw this video on CMT Heroes this past summer. It wasn't in their heavy rotation. It was in their edge rotation, I believe. And but the song grew on me. Here's the deal. And just let me collect my thoughts for a minute. My notes are all over the place regarding this artist. I listened to the song and I thought it had possibilities, but I wasn't quite connected to it. I wasn't falling in love with it initially. But here's the deal. I pictured myself sitting in a place like Krispy Kreme or Taco Bell, drinking some coffee or whatever. They got a satellite service playing, they got satellite music playing, and this song comes on. And the lyrics go, oh, the lyrics are brilliant in this record. The lyrics go, and I'm going to have to do the quote-unquote thing. Quote, when I think heroes, I think capes. Chasing villains, stopping trains. Half incredible, half insane. Aha. Aha. That's part of the hook of this record. This is somebody who knows how to songwrite. Comes up with these clever lyrics, and then boom! Got that hook right there. And it just, it pierces your memory, your brain, and you just hang on to it. And then it goes, what if Superman, he couldn't fly, and Spider-Man, he couldn't climb? What if they're just like you and I? Uh-huh. It's those little things, I tell you, those little flourishes that make a song. It's just a mark of a very talented songwriter, such is the case of Natalie Hemby. The song is called Heroes. It's at number 30 on my fantasy playlist, down from number 24. It's falling on my fantasy playlist. I might have already mentioned this. I had it in the top 20. Natalie Hemby, she's been around for a while. I thought she was a brand new artist. I never heard of her. But she's been around for quite a while. Her dad, she came from a musical family. Her dad played guitar. He was the touring guitarist and the studio guitarist for Amy Grant. Her mom was Amy Grant's personal assistant, a 90s woman. She grew up in the 90s. Sheryl Crow, Suzanne Vega, Dixie Chicks. And, oh, God, I'll mention the other artists in just a minute that really blew me away. Boy, that really got me excited, too. But this record right here, it's a very catchy record. It's a straightforward record. It's a song about you look up to somebody. I mean, this person is just near perfect. Near perfect. So great. But after a while, you find out this person just got feet of clay. He or she's got flaws and got their problems, got their issues like everybody else. And she's using that superhero motif, the Superman motif, to get her point across. A song that's lightly misted with cynicism, not drenched in cynicism. It's a bare-knuckled reality check. And she's got this line, and this hits home. This line hits home right here. If I ever met my heroes, quote, they might let me down, unquote. Boy, that's so true. I wished I knew that when I was a kid. That would help out a lot. She's written a number of songs as well. 8 #1 songs to her credit that she's co-written. That would include Little Big Town's Pontoon. I saw that video on CMT the other night. She co-wrote Automatic by Miranda Lambert. So here's the thing about these people. And I guess one of the reasons I do this video is kind of flesh out the people behind the scenes. And she was definitely a behind-the-scenes figure before she stepped out into the limelight. She's got a new album out, came out last year. Oh, by the way, her latest album, I'll go ahead and give it to you. It's Pins and Needles, came out released in late September or maybe October of 2021. And she's in a band. Natalie Hemby's in a band, Hemby, and a band called the High Women. The High Women, consisting of Natalie Hemby, we're talking a constellation, a little dipper or big dipper of talent right here. Scintillating stars. Brandy Carlisle is in this band. Amanda Shears, I might be pronouncing her last name right, incorrectly. Maren Morris. She did that song about the church. That was really good. She did a song, 80s Mercedes or something like that. I can't remember the Maren Morris, but she's in that band. 2017, Natalie Hemby, she released her first solo album, 2 solo albums so far. Pusico, I believe is how you pronounce it. 2017, it was named after her grandfather lived in a town called Pusico in Missouri, so she named the album after that town in Missouri. Signed a deal with Fantasy Records in 2021, came out with Pins and Needles when she was 19 years old. She signed her first publishing deal, 19. And this would be, I guess it'd be maybe towards the late 90s. Definitely a 90s person for sure. She wanted to be a singer, songwriter like Sheryl Crow. That's what she aspired to be. But there were all these record deals that didn't go through, and there was a number of events or close calls that happened. And then after about 10 years, she decided that being a touring musician was just not going to cut it for her. And she went into songwriting, writing for other people, and her husband is a producer. Her husband is a producer, and I believe he produced this album, Pins and Needles, as a matter of fact. So we got music all over the place here. And this song reminds me a little bit of Sheryl Crow. When I think about it, there is some Sheryl Crow. It cuts a deep groove. And when I listen to the beat, the deep almost has a funk, a bluesy bass to it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Love and Happiness. A little bit of funk and, well, a little bit of country. That singer-songwriting tradition just kicking in on this record. She performed this song now. I love this. The big going out party for this album. When this album came out, she did the whole album live. She performed it live. It was at the Basement East in Nashville. It got damaged by a tornado back in several years ago when Nashville got hit by a tornado, downtown Nashville. Gosh, I can't even remember when that happened, but it's been rebuilt. A number of people have performed, country stars have performed at the Basement East. It's a small place, but it's a very important, it's almost kind of an intimate place where you could share your talents as a songwriter, a singer, and just sing about your issues or bigger things and to an audience. And she performed her album there, her entire album, and it was performed to a capacity crowd when she did this album. Pins and Needles at the Basement East, and this was October 2021, not too long ago. Ashley, I apologize, my handwriting is not great. Ashley Ray opened for Natalie Hemby. I might be mispronouncing, and I apologize for mispronouncing it, but my handwriting's all messed up. And Fantasy Records, Pins and Needles, released off the Fantasy Records imprint. And now, before she did the album, she taught the audience, or encouraged them, and taught the audience how to sing the chorus, the heroes. It's just a fantastic record. It's very much just down to earth. You know, just rather be a face in the crowd instead of being up in the clouds. Because if you get up in the clouds, guess what's going to happen? You're going to come down to earth. You can't stay on cloud 9 forever. It's great when you get up there. Oh, it's fantastic. It's blissful. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. But you got to come down. And I think this song is about that. Now, here's another thing that really struck me. Oh, I love this. Actually, I hope she's watching this video, because she, during the show that she did at the Basement East, in Nashville. After she did the album, after she performed all the songs off the album, she did about 5 songs, including one by Fleming and John. Fleming and John. Nobody's heard of Fleming and John. Nobody. And she gave a shout out to Fleming and John. She expressed profuse admiration for them. She did their biggest hit, one of their biggest hits, Love Song by Fleming and John. And when I saw that, nobody in Alabama's heard of Fleming and John. Maybe in Nashville. They're based in Nashville, but she did that. And as a matter of fact, I decided I went through my archives, my fancy playlist archives, and dug up this fancy playlist of September 22nd, 1996. And guess what? Got Fleming and John at number 2, below Donna Lewis, I Will Love You Always Forever, whatever that song was called. Got Fleming and John right there at number 2. Boy, that was blissful right there, finding out that she was a big fan of Fleming and John. Muzak's hit line, they were all over Fleming and John back in 1996, I'm telling you. Also a fan of the Dixie Chicks, too. I believe I've already mentioned that. But, well, anyway, I got it down to number 30. It's all scratched up here, but it's down to number 30 right there, Natalie Hemby. And the formats for this song, finally, the radio formats for this song. I do believe now I'm sold on this record, and it's got possibilities. With enough airplay, this song could be a hit. Now, I don't know if it will make it on a pop station per se, but on an adult contemporary station, adult alternative, adult top 40, there's a fine line between these genres. Country, obviously. Gosh, if I was program director of a country station and don't have to worry about all the higher-ups watching the bottom line upstairs and the corporate structures, I'd run this song in the top 10. It's such a catchy record. It's got a great message in there, and it's a hit record. That's all there is to it. Enough said. Natalie Hemby with Heroes at number 30 on my fantasy playlist, February 13th, 2022. See you later.